Welcome to Just For Sport Jumoke here for your viewing and betting pleasure on the Props Network channels, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. I'm ready to go. Of course, we'll be also as a podcast if you're listening as well. Thank you very much. Please share and leave a review. It was quite a day yesterday in the NFL. I'm not doing good with my picks. Think I've lost, 3 in a row? Oh, gosh. I am struggling. But we're going to try to pick it up. You know, the thing that I did was I tried my best to not go with my heart. My heart was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I was like, nope, I just want to enjoy the game. I don't want to sweat it. And so I just said, no. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that game. And I should have done that game. But we'll get into that later. We'll get into that in a little bit. I'm also going to talk about, speaking of my heart, English Premier League. Frank Lampard has been sacked at Chelsea. Chelsea, if you follow the show, if you know me, Chelsea is my favorite team. And we're going to be getting a new manager. So I will be talking about that and what that means for betting on Chelsea to either win the EPL or make it into the top 4 or the top 6. There's a virtual Pro Bowl that is happening. And I find that very interesting, as we would joke from time to time about how eventually, what if you didn't see athletes, live human being athletes, and all of these games were played virtually? So we're kind of at the beginning of that, so to speak, as the Pro Bowl will not be happening in its normal form, which is to have NFL players from different teams, the best of the best of the best, playing on the same field for fun. I used to love it when it was in Hawaii. On my bucket list, it would always be to go to a Pro Bowl. You know, you go and spend a week there. There's so many things you can do. And you get to see football on Sunday. It would have been exciting. And I'm sure they may go back and do that again. But as it stands right now, I have never been. You can join the show with me via chat, as we are going to be talking about football and the other football in EPL. But please, if you have any comments or messages, hit me up and we can discuss them all. It'll be fun. So as I think about the games yesterday and I look back on what happened, the two main questions for me looking back on it is, and this has been debated already this morning a lot as well. Should Green Bay have went for the touchdown against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Especially when now you hear Aaron Rodgers quoted as saying he really doesn't know what's next for him as he watches his first game in the playoffs ever against Tom Brady end in a loss. I'm sure for him, it's like, what else can I do? I mean, come on. But it's Tom Brady's world, and Aaron Rodgers is just living in it. And he proved that yesterday. Boy, did he prove that yesterday. But, you know, you look at that fourth quarter, and I just don't know how you didn't go for the touchdown and you went for a Mason Crosby field goal with 2:05 to go to make the score 31-26 when you were down 8. I know it was fourth down, but you had a chance. And when you have Tom Brady on the other side and they have the lead, I feel like you gotta give it your all, and you can't play safe. And yesterday at the end of the game, the Green Bay Packers played safe. And they lost. And they lost. The other question that I had is, was Mahomes really not 100%? I mean, even I bought into it. I made my pick yesterday and I was like, you know what? I don't know if he's going to be 100%. I think the game may be closer than what it was. And stupid me, why? Why did I do that? The Chiefs already showed earlier in the year that they can handle the Buffalo Bills. And in the biggest game of the season for both teams, Patrick Mahomes, 325 yards, 3 touchdowns. Josh Allen wasn't bad, but he wasn't great either. And their running game stinks. I imagine that's what they're going to have to look at next season. And not that in this game, Kansas City's was that great. I had talked about Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming back, that was going to be a big deal. Ended up not being a big deal. He only had 6 carries for 7 yards, so he's still not 100%. But on the other side, the fact that Josh Allen was the leading rusher with 7 carries for 88 yards, that can't be good. Josh Allen can't do everything. Stephon Diggs was held under 100 yards. Tyreek Hill didn't get in the end zone, but he had 172 yards. But when I was watching Mahomes yesterday, I was like, man, this guy doesn't look like he's hurt at all. I was duped. We were all duped. No, I'm not really duped, but because, concussion is serious, and they took it seriously. They really did. But he looked amazing yesterday. Tom Brady, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. His quarterback rating was a 73. Aaron Rodgers was a 101. How is it that Tampa Bay still won? Well, because they have Tom Brady. That's in my mind. When I look back on the beginning of the season, after they won yesterday, I just sat back and I was like, of course Tampa Bay is going to make it to the Super Bowl. What more of a Cinderella story could be set up for Tom Brady? And for those of you that are able to possibly cash in on saying the Bucs were going to make it to the Super Bowl at the start of the season, my hat's off to you. It's just an amazing, and it's not a Cinderella run, but the story is just so great. So great. The Super Bowl's in Tampa Bay. It's lining up for the Bucs to not only have a home field advantage, but the fact that the NFL came out and said that the visiting team, and it would have potentially been 2 traveling teams. Not the visiting team, but any team that was not in Tampa Bay can only arrive in Tampa Bay 2 days ahead of the game, which does mess up the whole week of covering the team. And I'm sure for reporters having to scramble and say, oh, okay, I guess we're going to be in Green Bay for 5 days or 3 days and then go down to Tampa Bay. It's a juggle now. It's a real juggle now. In the end, I am excited for Tampa. Now what they have here is they get to be at home. They get to be at home for the entire Super Bowl, and I think that will make a difference. It's Brady, the GOAT, versus Mahomes, the kid, which is also known as a baby goat, which has been going around on social media, and that's pretty awesome. When I thought of this game, it was more about a it was more in my mind about the passing of the torch. This isn't the end of the season and year for Tom Brady that he's going to retire, even though the fact that you have Drew Brees saying he's done. Aaron Rodgers looked exhausted yesterday. Exhausted. Just like, I've had it. I'm done. And it's probably going to take like a month or two, and then all of a sudden he'll be back. He'll say, okay, no, I'm coming back. Tom Brady, of course, looked just happy as can be. Light on his feet. TB12. But you've got Tom Brady going up against the next generation of what I'm sure in Kansas City they hope will be the next 10 to 12 years of saying Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. And that's a possibility. That truly is a possibility. And so it's cool to see this passing of the torch between the two of them. And of course, you know, Tom Brady, he's never one to give up early. And I'm sure that is motivation in his locker, if not in the whole Tampa Bay's locker. Oh, we got to win this for Tom Brady. We have to win. The other comparison is Tom Brady and LeBron. And I don't know how, again, with the comparisons. Now, granted, the first year, Miami Heat didn't win, but both Brady and LeBron took their talents to Florida. We can't say South Beach, but to Florida. Both teams got to their respective championship. LeBron didn't win in his first year. We will see what happens with Tom Brady. But that was an easy bet to make at the beginning of the season. Oh, yeah, book it. Tom Brady, Tampa Bay Bucks going to the Super Bowl in Tampa. Why not? And then, of course, you look at the opening line here. It opened with the Chiefs favorite at -3.5. You can see on FanDuel, Bet Rivers, and Unibet, it's at -3. I'm good with that opening line. The Chiefs have the younger quarterback. You know, the fact that if you look at Tom Brady throwing 3 interceptions yesterday, as you can check all of the lines and the futures, money line, over, under, right here on the Props Network. Sam says, guess who took the Packers money line and Bills +3? Well, I took Bills +3 too. Packers money line. I don't know. It was something in my head that was like, there's no doubt in my mind, that Brady had a good chance of winning that game. And I think Tom Brady and the Buccaneers have an excellent chance of winning the Super Bowl. If you had to ask me who has most of the pressure, it's Patrick Mahomes. Not only is he playing against Tom Brady, he's playing against Tom Brady in Tom Brady's new home city for the home team. I mean, this Super Bowl is made for the Buccaneers. Arg. It's made for the Buccaneers. I expect as we get closer to the Super Bowl, because we've got 2 weeks, I think that line may change. I could see it ending somewhere at like Chiefs favored at +2. Maybe 2.5. I could see that. I could see that. But the cool thing is, that's not the only thing that you can bet on. And with that in mind, what I would like to do is I'm going to make a special bet here. And I'm going to use Bet MGM. And you can see right here on Bet MGM. You know what's the funny thing I like looking at? Just real quick as an aside. I'm going to do it later. Live. What could you bet on right now if you wanted to? Sao Paulo versus, oh, I can't say that name. Do Sul. Basketball right now. Hockey. Dynamo Minsk versus Severstow Sharapovec. You've got some hockey you can bet on right now. You've got soccer you can bet on right now. Rio Avenue versus Santa Clara. Handball. You can bet on handball if you want to. Right now. Snooker. Table tennis. Aaron Sirotkin versus Artem Sitselski. Like Tsitsipas, right? In tennis. So it's got to be Sitselski. That would be my guess. Or Igor Mikhailov versus Vladimir Zubliabin. You can bet right now if you want to. Live bets. But we're going to NFL using Bet MGM. And you can see right here, they have the line at +3, -105 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But the cool thing is you can do a one-game parlay. It's a new game here. A one-game parlay. Now, what am I going to do with a one-game parlay? I don't know. I don't even know where I want to go with this as I'm waiting for it to load. So it's taking some time. It's taking a lot of time here. Here it is. Here we go. Here we go. So we've got money line. You could go Chiefs, money line, the spread, Buccaneers, and the over. I'm going to say the over. If you look at the scores of these two games, Bucs scored 31 points. Chiefs scores 38. I expect it to be a high-scoring game. You do the math. They both scored over 60. 69 to be exact. Right? Look at this. The key is, if I'm thinking it's the Bucs, I feel like I'm going here. Then the Chiefs. So here's one right here. I could do Chiefs money line, Buccaneers +3.5, and the over at 56.5. Plus 1050 on the bet slip. But there's more, right? Because then look over here with the game. To win the half and the quarter. Oh boy. To win the half. In my mind, I would definitely think that I would take Bucks. I would take the Bucks to get the first. Actually, I'll take the Bucks first quarter, not first half. And I can add that to my selection. Oh my, look at this. Total points in the game. Oh my. We already kind of did over under, so I'm good there. But I could see doing first half or total touchdowns. So if you're going to say over at each team, I'm going to probably say over 6.5 touchdowns. Oh my, look at this. I think we're going to see a lot of scoring in this game. A lot of scoring. Halftime final result. What will happen in the game? You may add multiple selections. Will there be a sack allowed? This selection does not increase the odds. We want to keep increasing the odds, huh? Let's keep going up and up. Other game stats. Sacks allowed. Plus 3+ sacks? Oh, no, 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 no. I won't be taking that one. I don't see many sacks. This is good. Total touchdowns over at 6.5. I think the Bucks will have the lead in the first quarter. I'm taking the Bucks at plus 3.5. The over at 56.5, and the money line Chiefs plus 300, 3,300 to add that to the betting slip. Oh, problem with my betting slip. Okay, so I got to finish that later. Now, teams. What else will happen to the teams? Fumble loss, even total points, odd total points. I'm going to say even total points. I mean, can you imagine how much excitement this will add? Chiefs score the first touchdown. Well, I have the Bucks scoring the first touchdown because I'm saying that they're going to jump out to the early lead. Boy, I built quite a parlay here. I built quite a parlay. All right, so here we go. This is it. Money line Chiefs, total points 56.5, spread Buccaneers plus 3.5. Results, Buccaneers have the lead at the end of the first quarter. Total TDs over 6.5. Team event, Chiefs even on total points. Team event, Buccaneers score first touchdown of the game. I got a winner here, y'all. I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm going to finish that up. I'll finish that up a little later. Because I may want to add a few. But that was fun. And of course, now you can do it at home with Bet MGM as well if you would like. I feel like similar to my dad and my brothers, we're all going to do some kind of a fantasy pool, pick different players. We'll do something. It'll be fun. All right, another side of the break, we're going to talk about Chelsea and their decision to sack Frank Lampard and what that's going to do for the Blues and if that'll shake up the EPL. But first, as I was just on Bet MGM, Bet MGM is a new online sports book that has taken over the online betting nation. Not only does Bet MGM have some of the best odds on all the major sports, but they also offer some of the industry's strongest weekly promos. At BetMGM, you can get a free $20 in-play wager when you bet $50 or more on any live NFL game. There's only one left. Or you can get up to $100 in free bets in the free-to-play Pick 3 First Touchdown NFL Challenge, which, of course, could go into the Super Bowl as well. And as always, you'll get a $10 free bet in the Money Monday Club when that gets started up again. But that's not all. Right now, BetMGM is a special signing bonus for the Props Network listeners. All you have to do is create a new account at BetMGM and use the code JustSport20 to get a 100% match on your first deposit up to $500. That's right. Just enter the code JustSport20 and up to $500 bonus bankroll is yours. You must be 21 or over to bet online. Do you or someone you know have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER today. So as I am getting up this morning and I'm looking at Twitter and I'm watching, a little bit of Sports Center, waking up. And I see that Frank Lampard was fired, sacked, as they say. As a Chelsea fan, it has been hard to watch Chelsea lately. They're not playing very well. They're just simply not playing very well. And it's unfortunate. I am always excited when a player, who used to play for the team comes back to coach the team. And Frank Lampard has the Blues' record for goals scored as a player. He came on as manager in July of 2019. I was all excited, like, yes, we could use a change. He led the team to a fourth place finish, which allows them to compete in Champions League as well, and runners up in the FA Cup. That was a good deal. I was excited. As of December 5th last month, they were on a 17-game unbeaten run in all competitions. But something happened. And I don't know if we'll ever fully know what happened, but they lost to Everton, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Arsenal, Manchester City, Leicester City in 5.5 weeks. They lost 5 of 8 games. Granted, their FIFA transfer ban, although it was reduced on appeal, may have hurt the team as well. But they went from being at the top to 11 points behind the leader, sitting in 9th place. And as I thought about that, it became a thing where I was kind of wondering if that leads you to think that this is the time to bet on Chelsea. Is this a good time as they bring in Thomas Tuchel to replace Lampard, excuse me? It's crazy with the coaching carousel that Tuchel replaces Lampard. And if I have it correctly, let's see if I can remember this. What the manager for PSG was the manager and Tottenham, and then he was replaced by Mourinho, who was at Chelsea. Well, actually, before Chelsea, there was some time in between there. But my dad texts me and he says, "Oh, I wonder who they're going to hire. It's probably going to be a coaching carousel kind of thing," and that's exactly what it ended up being. It ended up being just that. Tuchel's taking Mourinho's old job. Pochettino took Tuchel's old job. Mourinho took Pochettino's old job. It's just going around and around and around. And that's what we have here. But I'm okay with it. It is what it is. As now I wanted to go to DraftKings and show you the odds here. We got Chelsea at plus 10,000 to be the winner of the Premier League, which is a long shot, of course. Then plus 250, which isn't as much of a long shot to end up in the top 4. That's what we got here. Look at that right there, circled. Plus 10,000. Chelsea, Tottenham, Leicester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, Manchester City, all above them. And then you see it at 250 here to end up in the top 4. And I think you have a shot here. Chelsea has lost 5 of 8 before their win this past weekend in the FA Cup. They have 19 games left. 19 games left. 10 of those games are against the teams that are either above them or just below. Southampton is tied with Chelsea at 29 points. If I go to the table here, if I have that right. Yeah, 29 points. Because Manchester United, which of course my brother is quite happy that they are at the top of the Premier League, as he reminds us almost every day with a picture. But you see, Chelsea and Southampton are tied at 29, and Arsenal's right below them at 27. So more than half of their games are against teams that there is an opportunity for them to possibly jump ahead of them, which in my mind is great. I mean, look at this. Look right here. There you go. Manchester United right at the top. 12 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses, 40 points. The goal differential of Manchester City, can't help but look at that. But you see Chelsea down here, only 8 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses. But if you look at the goals for, 33 is not bad when you see that, Manchester United has only scored 36, but they've only given up 25, and Chelsea's given up 23. I know this isn't American football, so there is some difference there, but, it's not like Chelsea cannot get it in the net. They know how to score. They have the capable players on their team to do so. They just got to work on the wins and losses. They got to work on the wins and losses. As I was reading different reports, Tuchel talked to the defender Antonio Rudiger and his former PSG captain, Thiago Silva, who's a little on the older side. But still, there is some continuity there in players knowing who's coming in. Tuchel is a disciple of Jurgen Klopp. And he said, quote, "I prefer certain qualities, an active playing style, bold defending, and pacey play in attack." And that's what we want to see. As a Chelsea fan, I am curious to see what he's going to do here. Now, the key is, for better or for worse, whatever happened at PSG, that Tuchel was sacked there, Chelsea doesn't have Neymar. Chelsea doesn't have Mbappe. So it's a much different team. But Chelsea did spend a good amount of money on 2 young players, Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. They've scored 5 goals and 6 assists combined this entire season. So the 2 young German players that Chelsea figured would show some promise and bring some life into the Blues have not played well. And maybe Tuchel can get the best out of them and turn it around. In the end, I take a flyer on Chelsea at plus 10,000. I take a flyer at plus 250 for them to get into the top 4. Why not? Just to sum it up, Chelsea has 19 games left. 10 of those games are against the teams that are above them in the table or tied, and then just below with Arsenal, 2 points behind Chelsea. So maybe you say, okay, Arsenal doesn't count, so then it's 9 of 19. But still, the bottom line is there is a good amount of games that they can kind of chip away at the lead. And for them to get into the top 4, Liverpool is currently in 4th with 34 points. So Chelsea's only 5 points away from that 4th spot. So that's not a bad bet at plus 250. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. All right, what else isn't bad at all is what we're giving you at the Props Network. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the virtual Pro Bowl and what it means for the future of sports, if anything. But I find it really bizarre that we're doing, but also very creative, I might add, that we're doing a virtual Pro Bowl. It's quite interesting. ThePropsNetwork.com is a place where bets begin. No, the Props Network isn't a sports book. It's where smart bettors and new players go before the sports book. Why? Because the Props Network has a few things that all bettors need. Exclusive sign-up bonuses, reporting on weekly promos, free betting picks, and live odds comparisons for every game. A visit to thepropsnetwork.com before placing a bet guarantees that you'll be wagering with the best available bonus and getting the biggest possible payout if your bets hit or your bet hits. But thepropsnetwork.com isn't just another bonus site. We've also got great content. Follow the Props Network on social media, YouTube, and Twitch for updates all week from me on Just For Sport and the rest of the Props Network team. Get ready to bet with the Props Network today. You must be 21 or over to bet online. Do you or someone you know have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER today. And we got some great content coming up for you on Just For Sport. We're going to have a special guest. Cross my fingers. I have a special guest for you on Thursday. I think you will enjoy it. We're going to be talking Australian Open the week after that, along with the Super Bowl, of course. And our special guest has a very integral role with the Super Bowl. Very integral role, and one of the teams. And so, of course, we'll be talking about the Super Bowl, and I'm probably going to regret all of what I've put in my parlay bet on Bet MGM, I'm sure. But I'm excited to do it. And we've got some Australian Open coming up soon, so we're going to be putting a show together for that as well. So we got a lot of content for you, and hopefully between us and NBA Picks and Props, and of course, the Walk On with Joe Walkowski. We've got a lot for you. A lot for you. All right, so again, in my morning reading, I saw this headline. Deshaun Watson. And I was like, wait, what happened to Deshaun Watson? Was he traded to the Washington football team? Yes. Nope, that wasn't it. Nope. Sorry, that's not it. Then I saw Kyler Murray, Jamal Adams, Derrick Henry playing in a virtual Pro Bowl using Madden NFL 21. Now, I love the idea. I think the idea is great. But it also made me think of that awful Hugh Jackman movie. Hugh Jackman. What was the Hugh Jackman movie with the robots? Should look that up before the show. I forgot about it. But it was him with the kid. It wasn't Chappie. Wasn't Logan. Wasn't X-Men. Whatever movie it was, we know it was bad. We at least know that. And it was basically Hugh Jackman helping a kid. It was called Real Steel. That was the movie. Real Steel. And it was a washed up boxer helping a kid using robots box in some sort of tournament. That's pretty much what it is. And what we have here with this virtual Pro Bowl using Madden NFL 21, this is like the beginning of that. What if this does well? What if the ratings are better than with a regular game? Now, I don't see that I can bet on this on DraftKings or Bet MGM, but I'm sure somebody's looking at this. I would not be surprised if somebody is saying, hey, yeah, I want to bet on this. I want to bet on this virtual Pro Bowl. Why not? The NFL players will be joined by Snoop Dogg and Keyshawn Johnson. For the AFC, and the NFC is also going to have Bubba Wallace and Marshawn Lynch. Can't expect him to say much. For the NFC, it's going to be streamed on EA Madden NFL's Twitch channel, NFL's YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook platforms. And the NFL Network is going to air it as well. 8 p.m. on Sunday and 12:30 a.m. on Monday for all of the real streamers that stay up all night. They can watch it there because they're not going to be watching at 8 o'clock. But I am curious how this is going to do. Similar to how I was curious how, and it didn't do great, but I was curious how the kids' playoff game, if you remember that was on Nickelodeon, would do. They were both quite interesting. But could this lead to one day you basically having a bunch of gamers and that's the Super Bowl? And it's not actual athletes? I certainly wouldn't like that. I can't imagine you wouldn't like that. But if this does well, Sam says, I'd rather see a Hugh Jackman movie than watching this virtual Pro Bowl. But I bet Sam would bet on it if there was a chance he could win some money. I bet he would. It's going to be interesting. I mean, heck, why not just play the Super Bowl too? And then you could still play the regular Super Bowl, but at like 10 a.m. on Sunday morning, just play the Super Bowl as well. Why not? Just for fun. You could have the same players play again, or you can pick some new players. Pick a random fan. Sam says no chance he could ever win some money. That is truly a long shot. But we'll never probably see the odds on here. But I bet if they did a Super Bowl, you might. They did a Super Bowl, you might. I'd like to see it. I mean, why not? Why not? It'll be fun. All right. That's the end of my show. I got trivia for you. And I'm excited to have you can tune in on Thursday for our next guest that we will have on the show talking about the Super Bowl. And my trivia question for myself was, what is the modern Major League record for most runs in an inning? And this is a new calendar. I get my mother-in-law gives me a new calendar every year. This is 2021. So I would hope, no, probably doesn't include this past World Series, which was only in I think it was October. I'm not sure, but let's see, because I definitely don't have a guess. The Red Sox set their modern record for most runs in an inning with 17 in the 17th frame of a 23-3 pounding of the Tigers at Fenway Park on June 18, 1953. During the 17-run onslaught, the Sox sent 23 batters to the plate against the Detroit pitchers Steve Grommick, Dick Wyke, and Errol Harris. Boston banged out 14 hits on 11 singles, 2 doubles, and a home run. Sox hitters also drew 6 walks, and the frame ended with the bases loaded. Left fielder Gene Stevens recorded 3 hits, 2 singles, and a double, and catcher Sammy White scored 3 runs. So there's your trivia question. I never would have got that. And probably someone did it this year before anyway. Would be my guess. That would be my guess. All right, that's the show, and I'm sticking to it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for those of you that watch live and are listening on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Our next episode is Thursday at 1 o'clock. Tune in live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, or listen to it as a podcast. We're going to have a special guest. All right. Hope you enjoyed it.